This lecture will walk you through the default structure of a Phonegap project, increasing our understanding of the build process for a Phonegap app. I've already created a default project in the installation of Phonegap lecture. Let's open this directory and take a look at the root structure of our Phonegap app. Firstly, we have the config.xml file that defines the universal and platform-specific configurations of our app. The config.xml file allows us to configure the ID, version, name, description, and author for our app. Also, the content source URL, which targets the file to be opened when the app has finished loading. Then we have generalized preferences, such as orientation locking, full screen support, web view bounce, and many more. I provided a link in the lecture's description to the Phonegap documentation explaining the different preferences available. Most of these general preferences are self-explanatory, and not all of them can be applied to all platforms. For example, the target device preference, which only affects iOS, has 3 values: universal, handset, and tablet. Universal means your app will run on both iPads and iPhones. Handset only allows the app to run on iPhones, and finally tablet only allows the app to run on iPads. However, this preference only affects the iOS platform, not any other platform like Android. Also note, we modified the Android minimum SDK preference to get rid of the build error. Again, a specific preference targeting a specific platform. Then we have the API access, such as enabling the contacts, camera, geolocation, and other APIs. The standard Phonegap APIs are cross-platform. It's advisable not to enable APIs that you don't need access to, thus restricting your app's permission set for security reasons and streamlines your app. Also, this file contains other information, such as icon and splash screen path configurations, which are by default located in the www directory. More on that later. Then we have the access origin configurations. The asterisk is called a wildcard because it means all data from any origin can be accessed. However, this could be bad for security reasons, so it's recommended to only access certain domains, negating all others. So for example, if we wanted to fetch data from our website, then we would say http://cartoonsmart.com. And also, to access all subdomains, add the subdomains attribute and set it to true. If you need access to more than one domain, simply copy the access tag and repeat the process for each domain. Remember your access origins when retrieving third-party data if you get an error. Now let's go back to our project. Next, we have hooks. This directory contains a README file, giving you more information. In short, a hook is an advanced script, either from a plugin or yourself. However, we will not be covering how to create a hook in this course. Next, we have the platforms directory, containing the individual projects for each platform. In the command prompt, we targeted our root directory and told Phonegap to add projects for specific platforms. Each platform we add creates a new directory containing a project, ready to be compiled for that specific platform. I've only added 2 platform projects, Android and iOS. However, I'll open my terminal and add the Windows Phone 8 platform as well. You can type any of the following commands to add all the various projects for each platform. Also, you don't need to add in each platform separately. Instead, you can add multiple platforms like so. First, I'll target my app's root directory, and then I'll type the command Cordova platform add wp8. You'll notice another project for Windows Phone 8 was created in our apps platforms directory. To remove a platforms project, type Cordova platform rm and then the platforms you want to remove, which in my case is wp8. Then we have the plugins directory, to where all our plugins are downloaded. Don't forget, plugins are not just from third parties, but also inclusive of the standard set of Cordova APIs as well. Finally, we have the main www folder, where you'll be doing most of your app's development. This directory contains all your HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and image files. Note we have the index.html file that is launched as soon as your Phonegap app has finished loading. We do have the main icon.png image, but also you have the res directory. In the res directory, you have icons and splash screen files for all different OSs, such as iOS, Android, Windows Phone, and others. Then, going into each directory, we can see there is a variation of image sizes for the icons and splash screens. Let's take, for example, the splash screens for iOS. You have a splash screen for different Retina displays which have denser pixel ratios compared to standard displays. Also, the same could be said of the icons. This is so that the various devices such as the iPhone 4, 5, 6, 6 Plus and the various iOS tablets get the correct image resolution. I recommend starting with the largest image and then scaling it down to the low resolution images. You only need to keep the res icons and splash screens for the platforms you want to target. Now let's move on and take a quick look at the index.html file. You'll notice this file is trying to load the Cordova JavaScript file. The Cordova.js file is the glue between the JavaScript engine within the web environment and the native code or plugin. This file is not in our www directory, so how does this HTML file link up with the Cordova.js file? When you compile your application, it makes an exact copy of the www folder and places it into the relevant directory for each platform's project, with each project being different. For Android, it's located in the assets directory, and for iOS, it's directly located within the project. All the platform projects have the same HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files. However, after that, the Cordova.js file is added in for each platform's project, enabling the index.html file to locate the Cordova JavaScript file. Going back to the www directory, you don't need the rest of the directories or files. They just came with the default project and are not necessary. I'll go ahead and strip out all the files and folders, leaving just the icon and the res directory, because now it's time for us to start building our app interface.